Let me ask you a question, and I want you to be really honest with yourself. Have you ever stood at the edge of a playground, watching your grandkids laugh and run, and felt a little pang of hesitation? A desire to join in, quickly followed by a quiet, nagging voice in the back of your head? A voice that whispers, "What if I trip? What if my balance isn't what it used to be? What if I fall?" Maybe it wasn't at a playground. Maybe it was simply deciding not to take that walk on a beautiful but slightly breezy day. We're saying no to getting down on the floor to look at a picture book because the getting back up part felt like too big of a mountain to climb. If any of that sounds familiar, you are not alone. That fear, the fear of falling, is one of the most common and powerful concerns for millions of us. It can begin to quietly dictate our lives, shrinking our world one small decision at a time. And if you've ever told yourself, well, this is just a normal part of getting older, I'm here today to respectfully but firmly challenge that idea, because it is not. The truth is, most falls are preventable, and the confidence to move freely, to play, to live without that constant, low-level anxiety is not something you've lost forever. It's something you can reclaim. In this conversation today, we're going to talk about how. The title of this video mentions the play with your grandkids balance move. And right up front, I want to be completely transparent with you. Is there one single, solitary magic move that will solve everything overnight? Of course not. And any video that promises you that isn't respecting your intelligence. Life is more complex than that, and so is our amazing human body. However, what I can promise you is something far more valuable. We are going to break down the foundational movements, the true building blocks of stability and confidence that make all the other movements, like playing with your grandkids, not just possible, but joyful. We're going to build a toolkit. We'll start by understanding the vicious cycle that fear creates and how to break it. Then, we'll dive into 3 core exercises, and I'll show you how to start right where you are, today, with simple progressions you can do safely in your own home. And most importantly, we will directly address that one subject that is so often on our minds, but so rarely spoken about, the fear of not being able to get up from the floor. We're going to tackle that head-on with a clear, step-by-step strategy that will give you a profound sense of control and empowerment. This isn't just about avoiding a fall. It's about regaining the freedom to say yes to life. It's about building the strength and stability to not just watch from the sidelines, but to be right there in the middle of the action, creating memories. And a quick but important reminder, I am not a doctor, and this video is for educational purposes only. We're your partners in this, but your doctor is your team captain. All right, let's begin with the biggest hurdle, which often isn't physical at all. It's that fear we talked about. The National Council on Aging highlights something they call the vicious cycle of fear. It's a powerful concept. It starts with a worry about falling. Because of that worry, we begin to limit our activities. We stop going for that evening walk, we take the elevator instead of the stairs, we avoid uneven surfaces like grass or a hiking trail. It all seems perfectly logical, a way of protecting ourselves. But here's the unintended consequence. When we reduce our activity, our muscles, especially the big, powerful muscles in our legs and core, begin to weaken. Our balance system, which relies on constant practice to stay sharp, gets rusty. This muscle weakness and diminished balance, ironically, actually increases our real physical risk of having a fall. That increased risk then fuels more fear, which leads to even less activity, and the cycle spirals downward, often leading to social isolation and a loss of that vibrant independence we value so much. Breaking this cycle is the first and most crucial step. And it starts not with a leap, but with a single, safe, intentional movement. That's what we're here to do today. We are going to build your body's foundation so your mind can feel secure. So let's get into our very first foundational movement. And this is one you already do every single day. But we're going to turn it into a powerhouse for strength and stability. It's the simple sit to stand. Now, you might be thinking, getting out of a chair? That's the big secret? And the answer is a resounding yes. Think about it. The ability to move from a seated to a standing position without struggle is the cornerstone of functional independence. It's what allows you to get out of the car, up from the dinner table, off the park bench, and yes, up from the floor. Every time you stand up, you are using the largest muscles in your body, your quadriceps on the front of your thighs, your hamstrings on the back, and your glutes. These are your body's engine. When they are weak, your body has to recruit other, smaller muscles and create awkward momentum to get you upright, which can feel unstable and jerky. But when they are strong, the movement becomes smooth, controlled, and effortless. I remember visiting my aunt a few years ago. It was clear it took a lot of effort and made her feel unsteady. That single observation told me more about her fall risk than anything else. The sit-to-stand exercise directly targets this and transforms that struggle into strength. Here's your action step. Find a sturdy, stable chair that isn't too low. A dining room chair is often perfect. You don't want a soft couch or a chair with wheels. For the beginner version, sit on the front half of the chair with your feet flat on the floor, about hip-width apart. Place your hands on the chair's armrests or on your thighs for support. Now, lean your chest forward slightly, look straight ahead, and use your hands as little as possible to push yourself up to a full standing position. Then, slowly and with control, reverse the motion to sit back down. Don't just plop down at the end. The key is the control on the way down. That's where you build a lot of strength. Do this 8 to 10 times. That's one set. As you get stronger, you'll progress to the intermediate version. Here, you'll cross your arms over your chest, taking away that assistance from your hands. The movement is the same. Lean forward, push through your heels, and stand up tall. Then, control the descent all the way back down. Once that feels manageable, you can try the advanced version, which is all about tempo. You slow the entire movement down. Try a count of 3 to stand up, and a count of 5 to sit back down. This increased time under tension builds incredible strength and control. The goal is to incorporate this into your day. Do a set of 10 before you sit down for lunch. Do another set during a commercial break while watching television. It's about consistency. Now, a red flag if you feel any sharp or stabbing pain in your knees or hips during this movement. Stop. This simple, powerful move is the first giant step toward building the raw strength needed for unshakable balance. Now that we've started building the engine with the sit to stand, we need to train the guidance system. Strength is essential, but balance is a skill. It involves a complex conversation between your brain, your inner ear's vestibular system, your eyes, and the tiny receptors in your feet and ankles called proprioceptors. This brings us to our second foundational movement, the tandem stance and walk. You've probably seen this before. It looks a bit like a sobriety test, where you place one foot directly in front of the other. The reason this is so powerful is that it dramatically narrows your base of support. It's what gives you the confidence to walk across a lawn at a family picnic without worrying about the uneven ground. It's the stability you need to navigate a crowded grocery store aisle or walk down a narrow hallway at night. My own father used to love walking, but he started avoiding his favorite path by the river because parts of it were unpaved and a little bumpy. The Tandem Walk directly rebuilds that exact confidence. So here is your action step for this movement. Safety is paramount here, so always start by standing next to a solid surface, like a kitchen counter or the back of a sturdy sofa. Something you can hold on to. For the beginner version, simply stand with your hand resting lightly on the counter for support. Place the heel of one foot directly in front of the toes of your other foot. Just hold this position, maybe just using one or two fingertips until you can hold the stance without any support at all. The intermediate progression is to turn this into a walk. While holding onto the counter, take a slow, deliberate step forward, placing your heel directly in front of your other toe, like you're walking a tightrope. As you get more confident, the advanced version is to try this away from the wall, perhaps in a clear hallway where you have walls on either side if you need them. The key is slow, controlled movement. It's not about speed, it's about precision. A red flag to watch for is significant dizziness or a feeling of vertigo. Practicing this movement for just a few minutes each day will translate into a very real, very noticeable improvement in your stability and your confidence when you're out and about. All right, let's just take a quick pause here. We are halfway through our foundational movements, and you are doing great. You can already see how this isn't about one magic move, but about building a complete, capable system from the ground up. Each piece supports the others. If you're finding this guide helpful and you're feeling a little more empowered already, I would be so grateful if you took just a moment to tap that like button below this video. It doesn't cost you a thing, but it tells YouTube that this is valuable content and it helps us reach more people just like you who are looking for these very solutions. Thank you so much for that. Now let's get back to it. We've worked on strength and we've worked on forward and back stability. But what about the movements that often catch us by surprise? The side-to-side stumbles. This is where our third foundational movement comes in, and it's one that is criminally underrated: the side leg raise. This exercise targets a specific group of muscles on the outside of your hips called the hip abductors, particularly the gluteus medius. You can think of these muscles as your body's personal stabilizers. When you walk, every time you lift one foot off the ground, these muscles on your standing leg have to fire instantly to keep your pelvis level. If they are weak, your hip will drop to one side, throwing off your center of gravity and forcing you to lurch or stumble to catch your balance. I have a friend who is an avid gardener. She told me that she started to feel unsteady when she was simply stepping over the low border around her flower beds. She felt bolted down again, as she put it. That's the power of these stabilizing muscles. Here is your action step. Just like before, start by standing next to your kitchen counter or a sturdy chair for support. Stand up tall with your feet together. Place one hand lightly on the counter. Now, keeping your back straight and your toes pointing forward, slowly lift one leg straight out to the side. Don't swing it. It's a slow, controlled lift. The key is to avoid leaning your torso to the opposite side. Your body should remain upright. Hold the leg at the top for a second, then slowly lower it back to the starting position with control. That's one repetition. Aim for a set of 10 to 12 repetitions on one side. Then turn around or switch sides and do the same with the other leg. The intermediate progression, you focus on relying less and less on the counter, maybe just touching it with your fingertips, until you can perform the movement without holding on at all. The advanced version introduces a pause. When you lift your leg to the side, hold it at the top of the movement for a count of 3 before slowly lowering it. This is a perfect exercise to do while you're waiting for the microwave or for water to boil. Just a couple of minutes a day can make a world of difference. Your red flag for this exercise is any sharp or pinching pain in your hip joint. By building these side stabilizer muscles, you are directly addressing one of the most common causes of unexpected stumbles, giving you the confidence to move not just forward, but in any direction life takes you. So now, we have the core components. We are now ready to address the single biggest unspoken fear for so many of us. The real terror for many isn't the fall itself. It's the idea of being stuck there, unable to get up, having to wait for help. That feeling of helplessness is what we're going to dismantle right now. We are going to replace that fear with a plan. Because having a clear, practiced method for getting up from the floor is perhaps the ultimate form of empowerment. This skill is what allows you to confidently get down on the carpet to build a magnificent Lego tower with a grandchild, all with the absolute certainty that you know how to get back up safely and on your own terms. The safest and most effective way to learn this is a technique physical therapists often teach called backward chaining. We start with the easiest part of the movement and work our way backward to the most difficult part. This builds confidence and motor memory at each step. Step 1 is to place a sturdy, stable chair. Begin by kneeling on both knees in front of the chair. Bring one foot forward, placing it flat on the floor. You're now in a half-kneeling or proposal position. Push through both your front foot and your hands to lift yourself up and pivot to sit in the chair. Once you've mastered that, we go to the next step back. Start on the floor on your hands and knees in an all-fours position. From here, the goal is to get to that half-kneeling position we just practiced. To do that, you simply crawl over to your sturdy chair, place your hands on the seat, and then bring that one foot forward. Finally, we take it all the way back. Start by lying on your side on the floor. From your side, use your arms to push your upper body up, and then swing your legs around to get into that all-fours, hands and knees position. And from there, you know the rest of the plan. By practicing this in reverse, you are building a mental and physical roadmap. Lying down, to all fours, to the chair, to kneeling, to sitting. You have a plan. A critical red flag here is to know your body. I strongly recommend practicing this for the first time with a family member, a friend, or your physical therapist present. This knowledge, this plan, is your ultimate safety net. It transforms the floor from a place of fear into just the floor. So let's bring this all together. Today, we set out to turn the fear of falling into a feeling of freedom and confidence. We started by acknowledging that this fear is real, but that falling is not an inevitable part of aging. You now have a powerful toolkit of foundational movements. You have the sit to stand, the tandem stance and walk, the side leg raise, and perhaps most importantly, you now have a clear, actionable plan to get yourself up from the floor. Remember that 50-hour threshold we talked about? Research from places like the CDC suggests that it takes about 50 hours of this kind of training to see a significant, measurable reduction in fall risk. The secret isn't punishing intensity, but gentle, smiling consistency. It's about weaving these small movements into the fabric of your daily life. You have the power to break the cycle of fear, to rebuild your strength, and to reclaim the confidence to say yes to the life you want to live. Yes to the walk in the park. Yes to gardening. And a resounding yes to getting down on the floor and being an active, engaged, and joyful part of your grandkids' world. Now, I would love to hear from you. Which of these movements or concepts was the biggest aha moment for you today? Was it the idea of the sit to stand as a strength builder? Or perhaps the step-by-step plan for getting up from the floor? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive and found it valuable for your health journey, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that little notification bell so you won't miss our future videos. We have so much more to share to help you live your most vibrant, active, and empowered life. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Be well, stay strong, and I'll see you in the next video.